You're listening to Life Repair Recovery Talk Radio with Rick Thompson, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Denise. Welcome to Life Recovery Talk Radio with your host, Rick Thompson. This show is about sobriety and recovery. We focus on 3 different segments. The point of view of the relatives who are dealing with a member of their family who is suffering from alcoholism so they can understand them better. The point of view of the insurance companies, the health providers, and how they relate in this industry. And the feelings and emotions that alcoholics and addicts go through. Now here's your host, Rick Thompson.
Welcome to the broadcast. Come in and get comfortable. Tonight's show is dedicated to a longtime friend, Chuck Kaysen, who just passed away. I have known him for 23 years since the beginning of my sobriety. He was a great comedian and talent, and he will be missed. The topic for this evening's show is Sober College, an innovative drug treatment model, and is centered around 5 core competencies which helps clients develop the tools needed to maintain a sober lifestyle, not while only in treatment, but long after they leave their care. Tonight, in the studio, we have 2 very special guests. Kristy Ross, who is the Director of Admissions at Sober College, and her chauffeur and bodyguard, Jerry Ross, also known as the husband. Jerry is a frequent guest on our show as well. Hello, Kristy and Jerry. Welcome to the broadcast.
Howdy.
Hi, Rick.
So how are you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Sure. My pleasure. Kristy, can you give us a little background of your story?
Of my personal story?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So I just recently celebrated 30 years of sobriety. And went into treatment when I wasn't even 21. Was a young girl, drinking and using during my high school years, and got into some trouble. Then got into some more trouble.
That happens.
And wanted a way out, and the Betty Ford Center had just opened up couple of years beforehand, and I went, that's a really good way to get out of trouble. Let me go into treatment. And when I got there, I realized I had a problem. Mm-hmm. And there was an answer.
Do you think that your using and drinking, or whatever du jour you were into, was stemmed from your childhood at all?
Do I think so? I mean, absolutely, to some degree. I mean, was it anybody's fault? No. But I do believe that I am bodily and mentally different than my fellows, and my ability to process my emotions and all of those things, I didn't have coping skills or tools.
Sure.
And drugs and alcohol became, when I was young, everybody said I was shy. And today they call it social anxiety. And I'm like, yes, that's what I had, social anxiety, absolutely.
So that's what it is. I've been wondering for years what the hell it was. Okay, I should write that down. That's my new excuse.
I always thought it was a social disease.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Nice. How long were you an active alcoholic and drug addict?
I took my first drink. It was a screwdriver, vodka orange juice. I will always remember it. It was one drink, and I drank it, and I went down, and I went, yes. I have been waiting for this feeling my whole life. I had fun. It was wonderful. All of my fears went away. My social anxiety went away.
Right.
And I continued to chase that feeling for the next 8 years.
What age were you when you first took a drink?
12 or 13. 12, I think.
Right.
So, I was young.
Yeah, I was 13 when I took my first drink, too, I think.
Yeah, I was.
No, that's what I did for my first joint. I got crocked at 10. Now that I remember, I was crocked at 10. That wasn't pretty. Hot Wheels flying around the room, G.I. Joes and shit. Jeez. How did you come to get involved with Sober College?
Well, I have a background in marketing and sales. I was in the telecommunications industry forever.
Right.
And I don't know, a few years ago, I took a step back and thought, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to do with my life? And I spent a lot of time really, soul searching and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And lots of prayer, lots of meditation. Really wasn't like hitting it, didn't know what it was. And then I was at a party. It was Memorial Day weekend. So Memorial Day weekend 3 years ago. And I'm at my girlfriend's house, and her 20-year-old daughter is sitting there. And we start talking. She's thinking about going into treatment. And I felt like the heavens opened up, and I went, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to work with young adults. I want to help them. And I didn't know what that looked like. And literally, within 2 weeks, the position became available at Sober College. I'd never even heard of Sober College. And I thought, okay, working with young adults, utilizing my background, this is it. This is perfect. And I've been there ever since, and it's an incredible program. It's very different. When I went into treatment over 30 years ago, Betty Ford was wonderful, fabulous. Mm-hmm. But what the founders of Sober College have done is they've integrated education and creative arts and a whole physical fitness program into treatment. So when a young adult goes into treatment, it's not just about getting clean and sober, because I know when I went into treatment, I didn't go into treatment to just get clean and sober. I went into treatment to live life.
Exactly.
And I wasn't living life when I was drinking and I was using. And and so I wanted to learn how to live life. And we help our kids at Sober College. We help the kids in every way that possible to give them a foundation so that when they leave us, they really are ready to go live life, spread their wings, and become, the people they were meant to be and create the lives that they were meant to live.
Right. What do you feel are the most positive aspects of Sober College pertaining to the client?
There's so many. There's so many. The environment it's an incredibly nurturing, supportive environment. Mm-hmm. It has all of the clinical components that any treatment program has. We have a psychiatrist and individual therapy, group therapy. We do really cool experiential therapies. So all of the kids do equine therapy, trapeze therapy, surfing therapy, wind tunnel therapy, which simulates skydiving. It's like that's typical treatment.
Wow.
We also have a partnership with a local university, Woodbury University. We teach 5 of their classes at our learning center. So kids who are in college or getting ready to go into college, they're able to take college courses and earn transferable college credits on site in a safe, sober environment. And Woodbury, it's a WASC accredited university that has the same accreditation as USC or UCLA. So the kids are earning college credits. We also have an amazing creative arts department. We have a recording studio. We have a television studio.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. Then we also have an incredible athletic department. Again, we just give them everything they need to live life. And I have not seen another program out there that does what we do in the way that we do it.
I was there about 2 weeks ago. Am I up now?
You're ready to go?
Oh, great. I was there, I think about 2 weeks ago. They had a talent show there. And I'll tell you the truth. For these kids to get up there and do what they did in this talent show, it just blew me away. It takes so much courage.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, because I don't want to look bad. I don't want to even take the chance of looking bad. And these kids got up there and just killed it. It was so cool to watch. But this also goes back to something that I had alluded to on the first show that I did with you, and that's the fact that a lot of these kids, no matter what social spectrum they're coming from, no matter how much money their families have, these homes are not those warm, fuzzy homes.
No, of course not.
And so what happens with the need of belonging, I've seen that happen at Sober College, where they get into the mix. At first they don't even want to be there, and they don't know what the hell to do. And then the next thing you know is you see these kids, and they're part of, and they're happy to be a part of, because they're finally a part of something.
Sure, and everybody's going through the same exact experience, so that binds people together.
So they don't feel alone.
Right.
Exactly.
I want to hear more about the trampoline therapy. I'm trying to run that one through my head. I mean, how does that work?
You mean the wind tunnel therapy?
Well, the wind tunnel and the trampoline.
Trapeze.
The trapeze.
So
you're just jealous because you never had that in treatment.
Yeah, I had it going on in my head, though, trust me.
Well, no, he
It's
told
going
me
on
about
right
a
now.
trapeze before, but it didn't have anything to do. Oh,
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Really?
That's
Seriously?
a different topic, Jerry.
different.
Really? It's another show.
All of the experiential therapies, so they are designed to teach our kids how to manage their emotions. And so what we do is we do a process group with them beforehand, before we take them to the activity, and help them, get in touch with their emotions, identify their emotions, help them connect the dots, and then we take them to the activity, and then we do a follow-up process group. And what happens, for me, the idea of doing a trapeze, like getting up, and that terrifies me, okay?
Naturally.
Terrifies me, right? And, well, actually, I did this surfing, so I'll talk about surfing, okay?
Okay.
So I've developed a fear around the ocean and surfing, grew up at the ocean, but today, terrified of it. Right? Sharks, yes.
Hello.
For good reason.
Yes.
For very good reason. And so when I started at Sober College, the founder, he said, I want you to go participate in these experiential therapies. And I thought, I'm just going to go watch. I'm not actually going to participate. I'll watch. I don't need to do that. And I have a good friend who's a therapist, and she said, go to the beach. She said, why don't you just put on the wetsuit? Just check it out. I said, okay, I can do that. So I went. I've sat in the process group beforehand. We get to the beach, I put the wetsuit on. I'm like, I can do this. And then I find out there's a lesson on land, surfing lesson. I'm like, okay, cool, I can do this. Well, the guy comes, he gives us a lesson. I thought, I am never going to remember all of that. Forget it. I'm not doing it. No way.
Right.
But because went through the process group, I'm paying attention to my emotions, and my emotions were all over the place, everywhere. So anyway, so they all get in the water, and they're surfing, and I thought, I will just get in the water. I'll do that. And so I went and got in the water, and then there was a woman there who also worked there, and she was surfing, and she came up, and she's like, come on, Kristy, try it. I said, okay. So I tried it. I didn't get up on the surfboard, but the fact that I tried it and I walked through my own fears, I felt amazing. I left that experience. I thought, I'm going to take surfing lessons. This is incredible.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Right. We're going to Hawaii.
Right.
Yeah,
my life has changed. But that's what happens for them. And when you're drinking and you're using, when I was drinking and I was using, it ripped away my self-esteem and self-confidence.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so these kids coming in, they don't have self-esteem and self-confidence. They desperately need it. And so these experiential therapies teach them how to manage emotions, and at the same time, it builds self-esteem and self-confidence for them, and it's amazing. When these kids, I love what I do because I get to see the kids right when they come in. And most of them, there's nothing going on. They're miserable.
Sure, of course.
They're so, they're miserable
In pain,
emotionally,
right.
physically, mentally, spiritually. And, literally, within a week or two, I walk by and they have ear-to-ear grins and they're happy, and I see the lights go on and twinkle in their eyes. It's like, oh, my God.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Because it gives them a positive future.
Exactly.
Yeah, if I can get over this fear of surfing or whatever it is, imagine what else I can do.
Exactly.
Rather than, okay, now I want to drink, now I want to take drugs because I want to numb the pain of everything. All of a sudden they now have, oh my goodness, there's a world out there.
Exactly. We had a young man come in within the past 30 days, and he's been to quite a few treatment programs, and he started using heroin when he was 14.
Ooh. Wow.
And he said to me, and he's never really wanted to do college. He's tried it before, but he said, wow, I've never been in college classes with a bunch of other addicts. He said, I'm really excited. I can't wait to do that because I'm going to be in college classes with kids just like me. And I loved that. And he is, he's studious and he's doing his homework and he's doing what he needs to be doing. And so this creates a safe environment for all of these kids.
That's amazing. So how is this financed? Is this financed through their parents? Is it handled by insurance?
Combination of both. We are a private pay program. Insurance helps offset that cost. Insurance, if somebody has a PPO program, PPO policy, insurance policy,
right?
The insurance will be applied to the therapeutic pieces, and then the rest of the program is covered private pay, so through their parents.
Right. Are you allowed to say how much that might be, or does it differentiate between each individual client of what the admission price is going to be?
I mean, it depends on what their specific needs are. On the average, it's about $10,000 per month.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, considering the fact that Promises gets $80,000 a month, is that about right?
Or whatever they can take.
Okay, well, there's that. Okay, well, yeah.
I mean, I'm not bitter or anything.
Of course not.
No.
I've never known you to be bitter.
No.
Why would you want to be bitter? You're so handsome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. The success rate of your clients, obviously, that's monitored.
Correct.
What is that on an average?
I would say it depends on. We just had some stats come out. I wish I had them in front of me, but as far as young adults going on and leading successful, productive lives, it's in the 80 percentile range.
That's incredible.
Which is incredibly
That's incredible. High. I mean, I've never even heard of stats that high, because drug addicts and alcoholics tend to.
Well, what's that place that's not based on? This is not a 12-step program, but we can guarantee. We have a guarantee.
Structured thievery?
Yeah.
In Malibu?
Like, yeah.
That's what I call it.
Exactly.
I want to see what their guarantee is. See what the hell they guarantee.
Yeah, well, can you imagine the contract, how that's written? It wouldn't even surprise me that if Chris Batham was involved in that.
Who?
Ouch.
Chris
Batham.
Oh, Chris Batham.
The guy that was on 2020 on Friday night that has
Friday night.
Allegedly sexually molested. Allegedly sexually molested his clients.
His name was what?
Chris Batham.
Oh, thank you.
And I can't remember exactly what the name of his treatment centers are.
Community recovery.
Okay, community recovery.
Was that Chris
Batham? And he, I believe it was interesting because a friend of ours, Alan Schimmel, is representing these 5 girls against Chris Batham.
Chris Batham.
And I believe that it was mentioned in the show that Chris Batham is now being investigated by the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, and the state of California. And during his interview with this guy the other night, he couldn't look him in the eye. And he, I can't say 100%, obviously, that the guy was lit while he was sitting there, but every extremity on this cat was moving at the same time, and it was all kind of, real free. And his eye, I'm like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? I would think if you're banking $30 million a year off of your treatment centers and your sober living homes, that you might want to go visit a doctor and ask him why you're trembling like that.
He was trembling, huh?
Yes, God only knows why. And I believe he also made mention that someone had taken his identification and OD'd and presented his identification at the hospital, which is interesting. I've never heard of that.
This was
Chris Batham.
Chris Batham was.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, we beat up on Chris long enough.
Good.
Well, at least for this show.
Well,
getting back to the topic, what counsel can you give young people about this lifestyle and joining and coming and having this experience?
What counsel can I give to them? That's a tough one. I guess it's...
If you got a kid sitting there, 21 years old, like you were, okay?
20.
Don't
age me.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're a little broken. They're sitting there and they're young. They don't know anything really about life, and I don't care if they get mad at me for saying this, because I certainly didn't.
I didn't.
Yeah, and they feel lost. Mm-hmm. And they're strung out on drugs, or they're drinking a lot. What would you say to that person?
I'd want to find out what was going on with them,
and
find out what it is that they wanted, and I'd let them know that there's answers, there's other options, because I know when I was in that place, you don't realize it when you're going through it. When I was that young, and I was partying. That's what I was doing. I was partying. I'm having fun. But, getting into trouble and not remembering what I did the night before wasn't fun,
Yeah, right.
And getting pulled over multiple times, while under the influence wasn't fun. So I think that's it. I'd let them know that, there's a better life out there for them. There's hope there, and that their dreams, they can have all of their dreams, but in that state, it's never going to happen. There are no dreams.
Yeah, well, there is no dream. You're dead. Sooner or later, it's going to take you out, because there's no mercy.
Exactly.
With drug addiction and alcoholism, as we all know. I think about when I was 21 years of age, and I turned 21 in a federal institution, and I got out, and I needed that so badly. But back in 1979, there wasn't even really treatment centers. There were halfway houses ran by convicts, who were.
Wasn't that just about the era of Schick Shadle?
Yes. Yeah, but I didn't know anything about that either. I was living in Cincinnati, Ohio. There wasn't a lot going on there for recovery.
They were using aversion therapy.
Yeah.
They load you up on booze until you couldn't drink anymore.
Yeah. Really? Is that what they did?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what they did with cigarettes, too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's amazing. Because if I would have heard of that, I would have gone. Yeah.
At least for a day or two.
At least for a day or two. Okay. I just, again, I wish I could have had an opportunity like that. My life would have, I probably would have been able to stop what I was doing a little sooner than I did.
You know what, if you don't mind, how did Sober College come into existence?
So our founders, Robert and Mindy Pfeiffer, they're amazing. They have a background. They both have a background in social work. Mindy is a licensed clinical social worker, and Robert has his master's in social work. And they literally started out by working with homeless kids on the streets in Hollywood.
Interesting.
I don't even know if you know that.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
So that's actually where they met. That's what they started doing. Robert then ran therapeutic boarding schools and treatment centers for adolescents, and realized that this age group, this 17 3/4 to 26-year-old age group, that there weren't programs for that age group. There's adolescent programs, there's adult programs, but what about this age group, which is such an incredible pivotal point in someone's life? And so they founded Sober College 10 years ago, and everything that we have there, so I mentioned the creative arts department. We also have an auto shop where they refurbish vintage vehicles. It's amazing.
That's incredible.
All of those things are there. One, because Robert absolutely thinks out of the box. He's a visionary. And he's totally open. So our auto shop was started because we had a young lady who said, "Hey, Robert, it'd be really cool if we had an auto shop." And he said, "Okay, let's do it."
Right.
And that's why we have the recording studio and the film department and the visual arts department.
It's like a bigger version of Job Corps with a recovery aspect connected to it.
And does it have, alongside all that, it has counsellors and therapists and
yes.
that kind of thing?
Yes. So we have a double board certified psychiatrist who works with us, and he specializes in addiction medicine, has his PhD in neurosciences. We have a neuropsychologist who works with us. All of the residents, we give them a brief neuropsych screener. Each resident is assigned to a therapist. They have individual therapy, group therapy 10 to 12 times a week. They're also assigned to an academic coach when they come in, and a drug and alcohol counselor. And they work very closely with the drug and alcohol counselor as well. And we give them chemical dependency education, relapse prevention education and tools, and we take them to outside 12-step meetings 5 to 6 nights a week, young adult meetings.
Right. Okay.
So could you share with us, if we be a parent of a young kid going through something that they think would benefit, or you are that kid yourself that feels this is exactly what I'm looking for, how do they get in contact? What's the first steps they need to do to enroll themselves in this program?
first they need to contact us. They can contact me directly at 818-859-9938.
You've also got a website as well, is that right?
Yes.
That's www.sobercollege.com.
Yes.
What do you do there, Kristy?
I'm the director of admissions, darling.
Thank you so much.
Wow. You just want to tell everybody that you're married to a director of admissions.
I sleep with her.
Well, thank God.
Shh. There might be children listening to this.
If they are, they're probably drunk.
Right.
which is one of the reasons why they're probably listening.
Yes.
So do they have, at the facility, do they have like swimming pools, tennis courts, and all, incorporated with everything else?
We have, it's a residential program, and part of the program for the guys, they actually transition into apartments, and actually the girls too when they go to sober living. But so yes, the apartments have swimming pools, tennis courts, basketball courts. We give all of the residents gym memberships. So it's part of, it's included when they come in, and we take them to the gym, and the gym has a swimming pool. And yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Is there an average time of staying at the facility?
The minimum commitment is 90 days. We have residents who choose to stay with us 6 months, 9 months, a year. We've had residents stay with us 2 years.
Wow.
Just depending on the individual.
And how much money is involved with the family that they can pay out those kind of sums as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, financial concerns, and,
Can you get grants? Do you have grants for this? Can you obtain grants?
Well, typically, no. We do have a foundation that has provided some scholarship funds, but that's only for somebody who's here during their second 90 days, so not during their initial. Right. It has to be somebody who's proven and shown that, yes, I want this. And now I want to go any further.
Sure. Okay.
But back to your question, Denise. So if somebody wants to really pursue this, if they go to the website, on the website there's a section where it says application or apply, and there's an online application that they fill out.
Okay, and just to reiterate, the website is www.sobercollege.com.
We're also taking calls tonight. Our call-in number is 323-203-0815. That's 323-203-0815. If you feel so inclined, pick up the phone and call us.
Can you just give it obviously no names or anything, but can you give us an example of a young man or a young woman that you've seen come through the program who was just completely broken and, had no hope? Maybe somebody is at that stage right now and thinks, yeah, whatever, that they're not going to be able to help me. Can you give us an example, share an example with us of a success story of someone who came in just devastated, nowhere to go, no hope, and just turned it around and is now flourishing?
There's so many examples, and my eyes fill up with tears when I think about it. But one in particular, there was a young man who called probably within the first 2 months that I worked there. And he called me, and he said, I want to come into your program, but I need to go to detox right now. He'd been using heroin. Right. And it was on a weekend, and I hadn't spoken with anybody who needed detox, and I immediately called the founders. This young man, he needs detox now, Anyway, ultimately, he ended up admitting, and he had some money saved. He actually paid for treatment himself.
What age was he? Can you remember?
I don't remember. 20s.
20.
20-ish. And darling young man, I just adore him. Anyway, he went through our entire program, stayed with us at least a year. So he went through our primary phase, our apartment program, and then transitioned into our sober living. And, he was working in the film industry for a while, highly, highly artistic.
And what was his, was it drug,
heroin,
alcohol?
Heroin. very, very artistic. I remember walking by, actually had somebody touring the program with us. It was a woman who at one point, she was an educational consultant, but at one point she worked with Disney. And we walked by and he had his sketch pad there. And he flipped through and started showing us his drawings. And I asked him, I said, did you draw before you came into Sober College? And he said, no. He said, I used to doodle.
Wow.
And she looked at it and she said, if you want to pursue this, call me, let me know when you transition out. He started selling artwork online. And I know that he is now, since he's done modeling and, is pursuing a career in hairstyling. Yeah. He's doing exceptionally well. And there's so many of those. There's so many kids who, another girl, she just celebrated a year and multiple treatment programs, couldn't get it. And June 2nd, she just celebrated a year of sobriety.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there's just so many of those where families will call and say, my kid can't get it. My kid's been to, X number of treatment programs. And and sometimes I'll look at these apps and think, oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And these kids that I think, oh gosh, I don't know, they're killing it out. They're doing so well.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. That's great.
One of our family, two of our family. One I thought was going to be hope to die. Never, ever, ever. And she just celebrated, coming up on a year and a half or
past that. She's got 17, 18 months. She's actually right now in Austin, Texas as a sober companion for a 17-year-old.
Can you
That's
believe
amazing.
That? Yeah.
So you've seen at close hand what it can do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but to be able to get this at this young of age.
That's a miracle.
Because certainly I was just coming into my own at 20, I'd already kicked heroin twice by the time I was 20.
By the time you were 20.
Yeah, and I was not about to stop. I just had to get this thing right.
Of course, yes, right.
So to see these kids at this age grab a hold of this and then embrace it, for me, it's amazing. I just went blank.
Okay.
Just went blank.
It's okay. That happens. I understand.
But it is such a dynamic feeling, emotion for me that I have a hard time describing it. To see these kids grab a hold of this and become something that's whole, something that you can,
tangible improvement.
It's like that. It's like that talent show. These kids couldn't be nicer, couldn't be more confident in themselves, and it blew me away.
Which seems to be the ticket, isn't it? Because they come in broken, no self-esteem, no self-worth, no confidence, so therefore they think, well, what's the point in anything anyway? I might as well just drink or, whatever.
Right.
To give them that hope and that, you know what, come and look at this. This is what life can really be,
right,
without the drink, without the drugs. To give them that opportunity, it's magical.
How many times have you experienced what we refer to as a retread? Hang on just a second. We've got somebody calling in.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello, you're on the radio.
Hello.
Welcome to Life Repair.
Hello, it's Tony.
Hey, Tony. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. Have you got a question?
Have I got a question?
Yeah.
Well, I heard you guys were talking about sober college. I'm not exactly sure what that is.
Hi, Tony. This is Kristy. How are you?
Hi, Kristy. How are you?
I'm great. Sober College, we are a drug and alcohol treatment center for young adults. I'm designed to, get them back on the right track and teach them how to live life clean and sober.
Oh, cool.
You know any 21-year-olds that are in need of any treatment, Tony?
I probably do. I just can't think of the names of any. In fact, I ran into somebody the other day. I don't know how young they were. I don't know if they were 21 young or in early 20s young, but, just hell-bent on, they don't have a problem. So I'm like, okay, and after they described some of the stuff that they were going through, I think I would say to them, well, okay, let me, like you say, when you plant in the mind of another alcoholic, and I just say, you're making a point to say that you need these substances to enjoy life, and if you take the substance out, you have an unenjoyable life or a life that you can't enjoy at all. And you didn't really have an answer. So
there it is. There it is.
And that's a big part of what we do is we really focus on reconnecting young adults to living life and enjoying life clean and sober, because literally it's as if they forget how to have fun. The way, their brain, my brain used to think the only way I can have fun is drink and use. Right.
Right.
And so it's something that has to be relearned. So we add, on top of everything that I mentioned, we just also add a lot of fun things, fun activities. We take them to the Dodgers games and the Long Beach Grand Prix and skydiving and deep sea fishing and snowboarding and skiing and, just.
And I got to tell you something. That does reflect Robert and Mindy's, I've met them a few times, and they are they're likable, they're up, they're all for life, and it just reflects all of that.
What's the capacity of how many people that you can have in the facility at one time?
Well, right now our max capacity is 79. However, we are getting ready. Our learning center, where our classes and our creative arts department, we're in a building that's 11,000 square feet. We are moving and building out a 33,000 square foot building, which will open up in the next 60 days.
That's fantastic. Okay. That's fantastic. So, Tony, how are you?
Oh, I'm great.
Okay.
I'm good.
So it's always fun when you call in because you have such interesting stories.
You think so?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if there's that show last week was unbelievable.
With Vinny?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Vinny's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's one of the top characters I've met since I moved out to Los Angeles.
Yeah, Vincent is definitely a character. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he is definitely Sweeney Todd. Without he's a barber. Ex-mafia guy who got sober and changed his life.
Well, he's not really in the mafia. He was around them.
He was around the mafia. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Around the mafia.
Don't send the police out to put a bug on his phone.
Yeah, let's not go through all that. They would be quite bored, actually, if they did that with his lifestyle today.
Tell Vinny that I got the thing for the thing with him. Please, just tell him that, and he'll know what you're talking about. All right?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Tony, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
We're talking about treatment centres and particularly for young adults this evening. And I was just wondering if, when you were getting sober and stuff, if you actually went into treatment centres and what age you went into and if they helped you.
Well, I know I didn't go through treatment centres. I went into AA and that was it, and So I managed to stay sober. I'm sober now 23 years. But believe me, my attitude about treatment centers, if that's what I would have needed, then I would have gone. I mean, I was beat up. But I was beat up enough that I thought, okay, fine, I'm done with this. Like, this doesn't work anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. I did the treatment center thing for 3 months in Akron because I was broken, had nowhere to go, and someone got me in there, and that worked for a while, and then it didn't, and then I had to go back out and play for 5 years, and then I just went in, and I just got up one day and decided to go back in, and I didn't go back to treatment. I just went into AA, which is interesting. I guess it's because I'm stubborn. But this sober college is amazing. I mean, I can't understand, after hearing everything I've heard tonight, why there isn't some kind of a federal grant program through the Department of Education or something from the Obama administration to finance this kind of thing. I mean, that just blows my mind, because obviously this works. If you've got an 80% success rate, my God, that's unbelievable. I mean, who the hell has that?
Why isn't the Obama administration won't finance it?
Well, I'm thinking you would think that when they find out something that works like this on this level with this percentage rate of 80%, that the Department of Education wouldn't have some kind of funding set up to support this.
Right.
Because now, teachers, at least in California, are spending their own money for supplies because they can't get it through educational funds.
I didn't even know that. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It is horrible. If we put more emphasis on education, if we put more emphasis on the arts, and the like, I guarantee you we would have a lot less problems.
Oh, absolutely, because they'd be too busy thinking about positive things versus going out and getting loaded and then having to go rob stores and things of that nature.
But there's no profit in it, see?
Of course.
There's no profit in it.
Oh.
And that's one of the problems that we face is the insurance companies. God bless them, but they, they're in business to not pay claims.
Right, exactly. Right, so they're not interested in parting with any cash before it's time. And I've heard there's so much fraud going on out there now, pretending that they're not paying out to anybody.
Which is horrible. Thank God we've done things the right way. Because unfortunately there are so many programs out there in the industry that didn't do things the right way, and that's where the problems come in. You know,
it's amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, someday somebody's going to have to do a really good documentary or a fact-finding thing to really show people how, at the end of the day, the minuscule amount of money spent on programs like this versus the amount of money that's spent on trying to be, disciplinary and
authoritarian.
Trying to keep to keep these people from committing crimes and all of that stuff. Anybody on the street would turn around and say, "Hey, why aren't you doing this? This doesn't make any sense."
Right. I mean, they're spending at least like some cases, $180 to $280 a day to keep these people incarcerated, when they could be putting that money into something probably. Yeah, not just being conservative.
But I mean, it's like there's an old expression, and I think like I always believe like a lot of these expressions that run around, they're basis in experience of being very, very valid. One is, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Absolutely.
This to me is like an ounce of prevention. If you can get people to get to these places, nobody's no guarantee that somebody's going to stay, that somebody's going to stay sober. But the possibility versus the way it's going now is the possibility of working to the benefit of society versus what they do now. It's got to, even if like out of 100 addicts, have caused trouble, even if there's 4 that make it or 5 that make it as a result of that, that's 5 less criminals on the street. I think it's, at the end of the day, it's got to be worth it.
I would think so. I mean, with a success rate of 80%, I've never even heard of anything that incredible. Usually you hear like 30, 40, and you're impressed by those numbers, but this is unbelievable.
Well, and I just want to clarify. So the 80%, those are kids who are living productive lives. As far as actual maintaining long-term sobriety, it's more around the 70, 75%.
That's still amazing.
Range. Yeah, which is still, when I went into treatment, when I was at Betty Ford, literally like the first day or few days that I was there, and I'm sitting in treatment, they said, look around the room. Only 1 in 6 of you are going to make it. That's right. That's right. They said the same thing to us. 1 in 6 are going to make it.
There's a positive thought to start your treatment.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's just scare the hell out of you.
Oh.
That's it. That's just put a fear factor in your brain that's reality, because statistically it's about 1 in 6, and that's and sometimes that's really a conservative figure. Because how many people have we seen go out? And over and over and over, and finally they die.
Yeah, and years ago I saw a show called Scared Straight.
Oh yeah,
and I thought, oh boy, that's the way to do it.
Right.
That's that tough. And the fact is that what I have seen at Sober College is overshadows that. 50, 60 times over. It's just an amazing way.
Well, there's love behind it. You're not. You haven't got the heavy coming at you and the fear factor going on. You're trying. I would think that you're dealing from a position of love and caring.
Well, you have the fear factor, but you have it in a positive way, because it's coming from the fear factor of, we know that you're scared shitless of surfing or whatever it is, but look what you've done. You're now surfing.
Right.
Translate that over to, we know you were shit scared of giving up the drugs or giving up the alcohol.
There you go. But
look, you were just shit scared of surfing, and now you're surfing. Come with us.
That's a great correlation. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Right.
And they also teach them what to do with those feelings over there,
which is important.
Right?
Yeah. No, I mean that's part
How
of
to
why
process them. Right.
Absolutely.
Right. That's the word.
Because that's a huge part. You take away the drugs and the alcohol, and what are you left with? A whole bunch of
feelings,
fears. Right. What do I do with all of this? Oh my God! Right.
Because you can't compartmentalize them anymore because you haven't got your helper.
Exactly. So that's why we do everything that we do, so that we can help them channel those feelings in healthy, productive ways. And now as I say all of this, it's also, it's structured, and it's. We provide guidance, and it's not all fun and games.
Oh, you're there for a purpose. Absolutely.
Yeah. You're there to save your life.
Yeah,
right.
right.
But so they get life skills too. It's like because a lot of these kids, they come from families where mommy's always taking care of them, and so now they have to make their own beds and do their own laundry and
be responsible.
Exactly. And we give them a small allowance, and if they spend their allowance in 3 days, they have to wait until the following week.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Because that's how life works, unfortunately.
Right. Oh, God, yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tony, thank you so much for calling in, buddy. You got anything else on your mind you want to share?
No, that's it. Good luck with this. Sounds great.
Thanks, Tony.
I wish you all the luck in the world. I really do.
Thanks for calling, Tony.
You have a good night, buddy. And if you think of anybody that you can shoot to Kristy, we'll make sure that happens.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Thank you, brother. Have a good night.
All right.
Tony. He always calls in. It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, this was a really good show. Kristy, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And bringing your bodyguard.
Can you just give the website one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. It's www.sobercollege.com. That's www.sobercollege.com. We're at the end of the show this week, but we would like you to tune in next week for another hour of reverberating talk radio. And I would like to thank Jerry and Kristy for coming again, and Denise for sitting in tonight. I appreciate it. I'm your host, Rick Thompson, and my always welcome guest, the handsome Jerry Ross.
And let's not forget just a moment of thought for our friend
Chuck Kaysen. Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah, he was a good guy. I've known him from the day I got sober.
Love that man.
Yeah, he was a really good guy. I'm going to miss him. Mm-hmm. Our mission is to provide a safe platform for those who are suffering from various forms of addiction. We're not professionals in the recovery business. We're just people willing to listen and offer suggestions to help those in crises. And as always, I close out with the words of the late, great John Flynn.
Disappointment is the caboose on the tootsie train of expectation. Anything you want from anybody, you give them what you want from them. It's the only way you're going to get it. Life is about giving, not getting, day at a time.
Thank you, John. Thank you for listening. Good night and good luck.
You're listening to Life Repair Recovery Talk Radio with Rick Thompson, only on LA Talk Radio.